The Phoenix hung in the void like a patchwork quilt of metals and memories, her hull a testament to 100 different rescue operations and desperate repairs. Captain Maya Santos stood at her bridge's manual helm, hands resting on controls that would have been museum pieces anywhere else in the Galactic Confederation. Through the reinforced viewport, she watched as another sleek Confederation vessel passed by, its crew no doubt wondering how her ship maintained its deep space certification. "They're hailing us again," Lieutenant Raj Patel announced from his communication station, which consisted of physical switches and analog displays, rather than the standard neural interfaces. His dark eyes crinkled with amusement as he adjusted a manual frequency dial. "Confederation Patrol wants to know why we haven't upgraded to their mandatory quantum network yet." Maya ran her calloused hand along the ship's worn control panel, feeling every dent and scratch that told a story of survival. "Send them our standard response. Independent contractor, grandfather clause, certification current." She allowed herself a small smile. "And remind them about Article 17 of the Free Commerce Act while you're at it." The Phoenix wasn't just outdated. She was deliberately archaic. When the rest of humanity had embraced quantum networking, neural interfaces, and AI-assisted navigation, Maya had gone in the opposite direction. She'd stripped out every smart system and replaced them with mechanical alternatives. Her crew had thought she was paranoid, but they trusted her instincts. "Captain." The call came from Dr. Elena Chen, their chief engineer, her voice echoing through the ship's internal communication tubes, another primitive system that had earned them mockery. "You might want to see this. The long-range gravitational sensors are picking up something odd in the Carina sector." Maya made her way down to engineering, the ship's corridors a maze of exposed pipes and manual pressure gauges. She found Elena hunched over what looked like an ancient seismograph, modified to detect gravitational anomalies. The engineer's workspace was a testament to human ingenuity. Discarded Confederation tech, repurposed into reliable, if unorthodox, tools. "Look at these patterns," Elena said, pointing to the readout. 5 ships have gone dark in that sector in the past week. All of them top-of-the-line Confederation vessels with full AI integration. She tapped another gauge. But here's the weird part. The distress beacons never activated. It's like their systems just stopped. Maya studied the patterns, her mind racing. Modern ships, with their interconnected systems and AI dependencies, were supposed to be foolproof. But what happened when they encountered something they weren't programmed to handle? "Any other ships responding?" Maya asked, already knowing the answer. "That's just it," Elena replied, pulling up another readout. The Confederation's declared it a no-go zone. Too much risk to their precious fleet. "But," she hesitated, then continued, "we're still picking up something on the old frequencies, pre-quantum band, the kind of signal only we would be looking for." The Phoenix shuddered as another Confederation vessel passed too close, its wake disrupting their stabilizers. Maya waited as the mechanical systems automatically compensated. No AI needed. "Captain," Raj's voice came through the tubes. "Just intercepted a Confederation secure broadcast. They're evacuating the research station in the Carina sector. Whatever's out there, it's got them spooked." Maya returned to the bridge, her decision already made. The Phoenix might have been considered obsolete by Confederation standards, but sometimes the old ways were the best ways. Sometimes survival didn't depend on having the most advanced technology, but on understanding the basic principles that made technology work. "Plot a course for the Carina sector," she ordered. "Let's show the Confederation why they shouldn't be so quick to dismiss the past." As the Phoenix's chemical engines rumbled to life, no antimatter drive here, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that their supposedly obsolete ship was about to prove its worth. Modern ships, for all their advances, had forgotten something crucial. In space, it wasn't about having the latest technology. It was about surviving, adapting, and getting the job done. The old freighter might have been a rust bucket by modern standards, but Maya knew better. As they set course for the mysterious sector, She thought about all the times being underestimated had worked in their favor. The Phoenix, with all its patches and jury-rigged systems, was very, very good at surviving. They were heading straight toward a threat that would make their primitive technology humanity's last, best hope for survival. And Maya Santos, captain of the most outdated ship in human space, was finally going to prove that sometimes the best way forward was to take a step back. Behind them, the gleaming ships of the Confederation fleet grew smaller, their quantum networks humming with artificial intelligence and automated systems. But ahead lay something those ships couldn't handle, something that would remind humanity that their greatest strength wasn't in their machines, but in their ability to understand, adapt, and overcome. The Phoenix sailed on, her mechanical heart beating steady and true, ready to face whatever waited in the darkness between the stars. The Carina sector spread before them like a cosmic graveyard. The Phoenix's antiquated sensors painted a grainy but reliable picture of their surroundings, picking up the hulking shapes of dead ships scattered through the void. Each one was a top-of-the-line Confederation vessel, now nothing more than expensive debris. Another electromagnetic pulse approaching, Raj reported from his station, the ancient Geiger counter clicking frantically. This one's stronger than the last. Maya watched through the main viewport as the wave of energy washed over their hull. The lights flickered briefly before stabilizing, their backup systems humming to life automatically. No AI needed, just good old-fashioned mechanical switches and failsafes. Engineering, status report, Maya called through the communication tubes. Outer shielding holding at 85%. Elena responded, her voice accompanied by the rhythmic clanking of manual pressure valves. The pulses are actually helping mask our engine signature. Makes us harder to detect. The bridge fell silent as they processed the implications. Complete radio silence from an entire sector was concerning enough, but the regular pulses suggested something deliberate, something intelligent. Captain, Elena's voice cut through the tension. The gravitational sensors are picking up something artificial. You need to see this yourself. Maya made her way back to engineering, where Elena had rigged up a crude three-dimensional display using old holographic components salvaged from a dozen different wrecks. The image was fuzzy, but what it showed was unmistakable, a perfect geometric structure, floating in the void. That's not Confederation technology, Maya stated, studying the strange angles and impossible symmetry. And it's definitely not natural. Look at this, Elena said, switching to a different display. Every time it pulses, it sends out a signal first, like it's scanning. Before Maya could respond, a brilliant flash of light erupted from the geometric structure. Through the nearest viewport, they watched as a Confederation patrol vessel materialized from FTL travel directly in its path. The patrol ship's running lights flickered once, twice, then went completely dark. Full stop, Maya ordered immediately. Elena, kill the engines. Switch to backup power only. Everyone to emergency stations. The Phoenix's engines died away, leaving them floating in the void. On their sensors, they watched as the patrol vessel drifted lifelessly, its advanced systems completely silent. The geometric structure pulsed again, studying its victim. It's some kind of targeted EMP, Elena whispered, her fingers flying over manual keyboards. But like nothing we've ever seen. It's not just shutting down their systems, it's rewriting them somehow. The quantum processors, the neural interfaces, everything that makes modern ships modern is being turned against them. Maya felt a chill run down her spine as she watched the patrol vessel begin to move again, but not under its own power. The geometric structure was pulling it in, like a spider drawing in its prey. That's why we're still functioning, Raj realized aloud, having joined them in engineering. Our systems are too primitive to be affected. We're so outdated we're actually immune. Elena, Maya keyed the ship-wide comm. I need options. We can't help that ship if we can't move. Already on it, the engineer replied, sounding almost excited. Remember that magnetic shielding we salvaged from the mining colony? The one everyone said was too crude to be useful. I think I can modify it to create a containment field around our engines. It won't be pretty, but it'll work. Do it, Maya ordered. Raj, prepare a message buoy. If we don't make it back, the Confederation needs to know what they're dealing with. As her crew worked, Maya studied the geometric structure through the viewport. It was beautiful in its perfection and utterly alien in its purpose. The Confederation had pushed for standardization, for everything to be interconnected and advanced. But they'd never considered what might happen when something came along that could turn that advancement into a weapon. The irony wasn't lost on her. The Phoenix, with its patchwork of outdated technology and mechanical systems, might be the only ship capable of standing against this threat. Not because it was powerful or advanced, but because it was simple enough to understand, repair, and control without relying on automation. "Captain," Elena called out, "I've got something else. The structure, it's not just sending out pulses, it's transmitting data. Massive amounts of it. Like it's testing." Maya's eyes narrowed. Testing what? Our responses, our adaptability. Elena's voice grew excited. Every pulse is different, like it's running through scenarios. But here's the thing. The pulses aren't just attacking. They're communicating. In machine language, so basic it predates the quantum network. "Can we respond?" Maya asked, an idea forming. "With our equipment." Elena grinned. "Captain, basic is what we do best." The geometric structure pulsed again, and this time Maya saw it differently. Not as a weapon, but as a challenge. The Confederation, with all its advancement, had forgotten the foundations their technology was built on. But the Phoenix's crew hadn't. They spoke the old languages, understood the basic principles. "Begin preparations," Maya ordered. "We're going to show this thing what humanity is really capable of. Not with quantum computers or AI, but with good old-fashioned human ingenuity." The Phoenix hung in space, a relic among ruins, about to prove that sometimes the best way to move forward was to remember where you came from. Elena's workshop had become a maze of stripped wires and cannibalized components. The Phoenix's cargo hold transformed into an improvised laboratory filled with equipment that would make any Confederation engineer cringe. Oscilloscopes salvaged from ancient mining operations sat next to radiation sensors repurposed from defunct terraforming equipment. "There," Elena said, pointing to a jagged line crawling across one of her jerry-rigged displays. "Every transmission follows the same basic pattern. It's asking a question." Maya leaned closer, studying the rhythmic pulses. "And our modern friends are answering automatically, aren't they?" "Their systems can't help it," Raj confirmed from his workstation. "The quantum network is designed to respond to any query. It's how ships identify each other, coordinate movements, share data. The entire Confederation fleet is hardwired to engage in this kind of handshake." A distant explosion lit up their viewport. Another Confederation vessel falling victim to the alien structure. The Phoenix's crew watched in silence as the once proud ship went dark, its systems corrupted by the alien signal. "We're receiving a priority transmission," Raj announced suddenly. "It's from Confederation Command." "There." He paused, double-checking his readings. "They're accusing us of sabotage. They think we're responsible for the ship failures." Maya wasn't surprised. From the Confederation's perspective, the Phoenix was an anomaly. The only ship operating normally in a sector where everything else was failing. Of course they'd jump to conclusions. "Show me those patterns again," Maya told Elena, ignoring the accusations for now. "There's something familiar about them." Elena pulled up multiple readings, displaying them side by side on her makeshift array of screens. Each pulse is unique, but they all share this underlying structure. "It's like a conversation," Maya finished. "Not an attack. A test. The structure isn't trying to destroy these ships. It's trying to talk to them. But modern systems are so automated, they're responding wrong." The Phoenix shuddered as another electromagnetic pulse washed over them. Elena's modified shielding held, their primitive systems continuing to function while more advanced vessels fell silent around them. "Look at this," Elena said excitedly, pointing to a new reading. "The pulses, they're getting more complex, like it's gradually increasing the difficulty, testing our ability to adapt." "Can we respond?" Maya asked. "Not automatically like the Confederation ships, but deliberately, on our own terms." Elena's eyes lit up with the challenge. "Those old mining sensors we salvage. They were designed to emit electromagnetic pulses for mineral detection. If I reconfigure them, route power through the manual controls." "Do it," Maya ordered. She turned to Raj. "What's our status with the Confederation?" "3 warships incoming," he reported grimly. "They're demanding we power down and prepare for boarding. They think we're using some kind of experimental weapon against their fleet." Maya smiled grimly. "Then we better solve this puzzle before they get here." "Elena, how long do you need?" "Give me 30 minutes to rig up a transmission system. It won't be pretty, but it'll work." Maya finished the familiar phrase. "Raj, send a message to those warships. Tell them." She paused, considering. "Tell them we're attempting first contact." The next half hour was a blur of activity. Elena's team worked frantically to convert their salvaged equipment into a communication array, while Raj monitored the approaching Confederation ships. Maya studied the alien structure's transmission patterns, looking for the key to understanding its purpose. "Ready," Elena announced finally, her face streaked with grease. "But Captain, we only have enough power for one concentrated transmission. If we get this wrong—" "We won't," Maya said with more confidence than she felt. "Because we're going to do something no Confederation ship can do. We're going to think before we speak." She studied the patterns one last time, seeing not just the pulses but the spaces between them. The structure wasn't looking for automated responses. It was looking for understanding. "Send this," she ordered, inputting a sequence into the manual controls. "Basic binary, pre-quantum protocols. Let's show it we know our history." The makeshift array hummed to life, sending out their message. Not an automated handshake or data burst, but a deliberately crafted response showing the steps of their understanding. They were proving they could communicate not just with advanced technology, but with fundamental principles. For a long moment, nothing happened. The alien structure continued its regular pulses, the Confederation warships grew closer, and the Phoenix's crew held their breath. Then the structure's pattern changed. The pulses shifted, became more focused. It was responding not to their technology, but to their demonstration of understanding. "It worked," Elena whispered in awe. "We're actually talking to it." But before they could celebrate, Raj's console lit up with warnings. "Confederation ships entering weapons range. They're charging weapons." Maya gripped her command chair. They were finally making progress with the alien structure, but now they had to convince their own people they weren't the enemy. The Phoenix hung in space, caught between 2 forces that could destroy them. One alien and one human, about to prove that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology, but its ability to understand and adapt. The Phoenix's hull creaked under the strain as Maya executed another evasive maneuver, avoiding the warning shots from the approaching Confederation warships. Their primitive chemical engines weren't built for combat maneuvers, but they had one advantage: unpredictability. "They're trying to lock their targeting computers onto us," Raj reported, monitoring his cobbled-together sensor array. "But our irregular power signature is confusing their eye targeting systems." "Keep those engines cycling randomly," Maya ordered through the communication tubes. "Elena, how's our conversation with our new friend going?" "The structure's responses are evolving," Elena called back, her voice tight with concentration. "Each exchange reveals more complexity. It's like it's teaching us something, building up from basic principles to more advanced concepts." Another warning shot blazed past their viewport, closer this time. The Confederation ships were adapting, their AI systems learning to compensate for the Phoenix's erratic movements. "Captain," Elena's voice suddenly took on an urgent tone, I think I understand what this thing is. It's not just a test, it's a library, an archive of some ancient civilization's technological development. Maya's mind raced with the implications, and it's not looking for civilizations that have advanced technology. It's looking for ones that understand how technology works. Elena finished. The pulses, the questions, they're like a technological Rosetta Stone, teaching basic principles before sharing more advanced knowledge. The ship shuddered as a glancing hit from a Confederation energy weapon struck their outer hull. Alarms blared, but old-fashioned pressure gauges showed the damage was minimal. We've got maybe 10 minutes before those warships are in optimal firing range, Raj warned. And I'm picking up quantum communications between them. They're coordinating their attack patterns. Maya studied the tactical display, an ancient screen showing simple dots representing the approaching warships. The alien structure continued its rhythmic pulses, each one more complex than the last. An idea began to form. Elena, she called through the tubes, can you modify our response to the structure? Not just answer its questions, but show it what's happening here. You mean demonstrate the conflict? Elena asked, catching on quickly. Use our communications to show how the Confederation's automated responses differ from our manual ones. Exactly. Show it the difference between understanding technology and being controlled by it. Elena's fingers flew over her manual controls, reconfiguring their makeshift communication array. Converting our sensor data now. It won't be pretty. But it'll work, Maya finished with a grim smile. The Phoenix shuddered again as another shot grazed their hull. The Confederation ships were getting closer, their AI systems gradually solving the puzzle of targeting a ship that didn't behave like their simulations predicted. Transmission ready, Elena announced. But Captain, this will take most of our remaining power. We'll be sitting ducks. Maya took a deep breath. Everything hinged on her theory being correct. Send it. The Phoenix's engines fell to minimal power as energy was diverted to Elena's modified communication array. Through their viewport, they watched as their message reached the alien structure. A complex sequence showing not just their understanding of basic principles, but how that understanding set them apart from the automated responses of the Confederation ships. For several tense moments, nothing happened. The warships drew closer, their weapons charged, while the structure continued its regular pulses. Then everything changed. The structure's geometric patterns shifted, its perfect symmetry transforming into something new. A beam of energy unlike anything they'd seen before swept across the sector. But instead of disabling ships, it did something else entirely. The Confederation warships, Raj reported in amazement, their quantum networks are resetting. It's like the structure is teaching them to, starting from basic principles. On their screens, they watched as the warship's advanced systems temporarily shut down, then began rebooting, not with their usual automated processes, but in a way that required manual intervention and understanding. It's giving them a choice, Maya realized. Learn to understand their technology, or lose access to it entirely. Emergency channels crackled to life as confused Confederation crews found themselves forced to operate their ships manually for the first time. The alien structure pulsed again, but this time the pattern was clearly an invitation. We're receiving a new transmission, Elena called out excitedly. It's incredible. Scientific principles, technological blueprints, but all built up from fundamental understanding. The structure isn't just testing us. It's offering to teach us. Maya smiled as she watched the Confederation crews struggling to adapt, finally understanding what her crew had known all along. Technology wasn't just about having the most advanced systems. It was about understanding how those systems worked, being able to control them rather than being controlled by them. The Phoenix hung in space, its primitive systems humming steadily while around them. The most advanced ships in human space were learning to start over from the beginning. They had passed the test not through technological superiority, but through something far more important, the human drive to understand, to learn, and to truly master their tools rather than simply use them. 3 months after the encounter with the alien structure, the Phoenix drifted in high orbit above Earth, her scarred hull reflecting the golden light of sunrise. The view below was different now. Sprawling orbital shipyards where vessels of all shapes and sizes were being retrofitted with hybrid systems, combining the best of automated and manual controls. Maya stood at her familiar manual helm, watching as a delegation of Confederation officials boarded through the Phoenix's aging airlock. They looked uncomfortably out of place among the exposed pipes and analog gauges, but there was a new respect in their eyes. "The results are undeniable," Admiral Chen was saying, running her hand along a physical control panel. "Ships with hybrid systems are showing a 300% increase in problem-solving capability. Crews who understand the fundamental principles adapt faster, think more creatively." "That's because they're not just operating their ships," Maya replied. "They're working with them, understanding them." The alien structure, now known as the Archive, had changed everything. Its vast database of technological knowledge was being gradually decoded, but only by those who demonstrated true understanding of each principle before moving to the next. It was like having the combined scientific knowledge of 1,000 civilizations, but with safeguards to ensure that knowledge wasn't misused. "Captain Santos," Elena called through the communication tubes, still steadfastly refusing to use the quantum channels even though the Phoenix now had them as a backup system. "You might want to see this. We're getting some interesting readings from the archive." Maya led the delegation to engineering, where Elena's workspace had evolved into an odd combination of cutting-edge holographic displays and reliable analog backups. The engineer was studying a complex pattern of signals, her expression excited. "It's opening a new section," Elena explained. "Remember how it tested us before sharing its knowledge? Now it's offering something else. Coordinates, star charts leading to other archives, each containing different aspects of technological development. A network of learning centers," Admiral Chen breathed, "spread across the galaxy." "More than that," Maya corrected. "A safety net. Insurance that no civilization can advance beyond their understanding. That technology serves its users, not the other way around." The Phoenix had become a symbol of this new philosophy. Her hybrid systems were studied by engineers across human space, her crew sought after as instructors. She proved that the path forward wasn't about choosing between old and new, but about understanding both. "We're detecting new signals," Raj reported from his station, now equipped with both quantum processors and manual overrides. "The archive. It's receiving transmissions from deep space, non-human signals. Other civilizations," Maya realized. "Also learning. Also understanding." Admiral Chen nodded slowly. The archive wasn't just testing humanity. It was preparing us for what's out there. Through the viewport, they watched as another ship approached, this one clearly not of human design. Its hull was a perfect blend of advanced technology and fundamental engineering, each system demonstrating both sophistication and understanding. "First contact," Maya said softly. "Real first contact. Not just with technology we don't understand, but with beings who understand their technology just as we're learning to understand ours." The alien vessel matched their orbit perfectly, its systems synchronized with their own on the most basic level. No artificial barriers of incompatible advanced technology, just pure engineering principles that were universal across the cosmos. "Captain," Raj called out, his voice excited. "They're requesting permission to dock. Using old-style mechanical airlocks. They want to meet face to face." Maya smiled. The Phoenix, once mocked as a relic, had helped humanity find its true path forward, not racing blindly toward advancement, but growing with understanding, learning not just to use technology, but to master it. "Grant them permission," she ordered, "and tell them." She paused, looking around at her ship, her crew, at the blend of old and new that represented humanity's best qualities. "Tell them we look forward to learning from each other." As the alien ship began its docking procedure, Maya thought about the journey that had brought them here. The Phoenix had started as an oddity, a stubborn refusal to blindly embrace automation. Now she was a pioneer, leading humanity toward a future where technology was a tool to be understood, not a crutch to be relied upon. The airlocks engaged with a satisfying mechanical funk. No quantum entanglement, no AI oversight, just solid engineering and human ingenuity. As her crew prepared to make history, Maya knew they had found something far more valuable than advanced technology. They had found wisdom, and in the vast darkness between the stars, other archives waited, ready to share their knowledge with those who proved worthy, not through advancement alone, but through understanding. The true test had never been about having the most sophisticated technology. It had been about remembering what made humans special in the first place: their curiosity, their creativity, and their drive to not just use their tools, but to truly understand them.